In 8.5, you'll learn how to factor the trinomial x squared plus bx plus c, where the leading coefficient is positive 1. The key concept here is when you have the trinomial x squared plus bx plus c, you need to look for two factors when multiplied together. So let's let these two factors be p and q. When you multiply these two factors together, you need to get c. All right, and then when you add these two factors together, you need to get b. So after you factor this, you are to write two separate binomials that are products of each other. So it will be x plus the p in parentheses times x plus the q in parentheses. So to repeat, the trinomial x squared plus bx plus c, when factored, it will be written as a product of two binomials, x plus p times x plus q, provided that p plus q equals the b, which is the coefficient of the x, and p times q equals the c, which is the constant. Okay, let's look at an example here. To factor, step 1, think of two factors. Okay, so if we look at this problem here, x squared plus 5x plus 6, I'm going to think of two factors of 6 so that when I multiply them together, I get 6. So it will be 2 and 3. Okay, so that would be my C. And this would also give me the sum of 5. So this would be my B. Now, then I can write this trinomial as two factors. X plus 2 times x plus 3. So we check with the FOIL method. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 3 is 6. And this would definitely go to x squared plus 5x plus 6, which is our original trinomial. Now, you must be wondering, why not use 1 and 6? Because 1 times 6 also equals 6. Well, if you add 1 plus 6, this does not equal to 5. And you need these two numbers not only to whose product equals to 6, but the sum also needs to equal to 5, which is the coefficient of the second term here in your trinomial. Now we're going to look at factoring trinomials in two variables. So here we have the key concept, x squared plus bxy. So your second variable begins in the second term plus cy squared. Now, so to factor this, you will also write it as two binomials that are products of each other. So x plus py times x plus qy. Provided that when you add p plus q, it would equal to b, which is the coefficient of xy. And then when you take p times q, it would equal to c, which is the coefficient of y squared. So again, for this example here, let's look at 14. Think of two factors of 14, which would be our c here, that would give you the sum of 9, which is our b. So in this case, that would be 2 and 7. Okay, so 2 and 7 gives you 9. Or you can change this to 2 plus 7. Okay, so we can simply plug these two numbers in here. So what I just did was I factored a trinomial by writing it as a product of two binomials. So x squared, I put the x here, x times x, and then the y squared, I will put it here. All right, and then positive, and then we'll put the two numbers in. Okay, and we can check with the FOIL method. X times x was x squared. X times 7y, 7xy. And then 2 times x was 2xy. And then 2y times 7y would be 14y squared. So this will give me x squared plus 9xy plus 14y squared, which is our original trinomial. Okay, now I'm going to show you patterns of positive, negative signs when factoring. Okay, so when you have x squared plus bx plus c, then when you factor, you can continue with the positive signs. So this is the easiest one. And then we can think of two factors, 1 times 3, which makes 3, and 1 plus 3 makes 4. And we could substitute it in, and this will be in factored form. Okay, and when you have a negative sign involved, it becomes slightly more complicated. So the pattern is positive, negative, positive, negative. Okay. Now I'm looking at 32, and I think of 4 and 8 as my factors, and there's of course all these other factors that you can think of, like 132, 216, but it's not going to help me. If I take 4 and 8 and I multiply that together, I get 32. And now what can I do to 4 and 8 to get positive 4? I can make 4 negative, so that when I do negative 4 plus 8, I still get a positive 4. Okay, so here, when I see the sign negative, I will put the 4 next to it. And I see the sign positive, I'll put the 8 next to it. So this would be my factored form. And I could check with the FOIL method. I'll multiply the outer, negative 4x, and I'm going to multiply the inner and add it to negative 4x, which is positive 8x. And then this will give me 4x, which is the middle term. And I'm going to double check the last terms. Positive 8 times negative 4 makes negative 32. And now the next one, if you have a trinomial beginning with negative, positive, then when I factor, I will use negative, negative. Now the number here is positive 16, or just 16, it doesn't matter. And then I see that I can use, of all the factors of pairs of factors of 16, I see that I can use 2 and 8. And how would I make 2 and 8 so that I can get negative 10? I will give negative signs to both of these numbers. Okay, so here are your negative signs already, so you don't have to worry. Just simply plug in 2 and 8 into each of these binomials. You check with the the FOIL method, x times 8, 8x. And with the negative sign, and then negative 2x, which makes negative 10x. So that is the second term. And negative 2 times negative 8 makes positive 16. Okay? And the last one, if negative, negative, and then positive, negative. Then we can write this as x plus x times x minus, because I'm following this pattern here. Okay, and then I think of 2 and 9, and I could assign a negative sign for the 9, so that when I add these together, I get negative 7, which is the b here, and then positive 2 times negative 9 gives me negative 18, so we're good. And I will put the 2 here because I have a positive 2. And then I will put the 9 here to give me the negative 9 as this other one here. And then to double check, 2 times negative 9 gives me negative 9x. Positive 2 times x gives me 2x. So 2x minus 9x equals negative 7x, which is the middle term. Okay? Okay, let's do a couple practice problems. Here I have positive, and I have a p variable, so we could do p plus, and 24 and 10, I can think of the factors 4 and 6, because 4 times 6 makes positive 24, and 4 plus 6 makes 10. So I can put it in. And here I have negative, positive, and a w. So it would be w minus, and another one. And I think of 5 and 9. Maybe I can assign negative signs for them because of the fact that this is negative here. So negative 5 times negative 9 makes positive 45. Negative 5 plus negative 9 makes negative 14. I could just put 5 and 9 in. Okay, so this is the negative 5, this is the negative 9. Okay, and then we're done factoring with that one. And in the next one, positive, negative, positive, negative. And then we can use 6 and 4. Okay, and then I think I need to give the 4 a negative sign. So that 6 times negative 4 gives me negative 24. 6 plus negative 4 gives me a positive 2. And then the positive 6 will have to go here. And then the negative 4 will have to go here. And one more, negative, negative, positive, negative. And then I'm going to use 7 and 8 because this is negative 1 here. And I have to assign the negative sign with the 8. So when I add 7 and negative 8, I get negative 1 here. And 7 times negative 8 will be negative 56. And then the 8 would go with the subtraction sign, and here's positive 7. Okay? Okay, and then now we're going to solve the equation. And in this case, we also need to use a zero product property. Okay, now first we need to factor the trinomial. And then this would be n plus n negative equal to 0. And this would be 4 and 15 because 4 minus 15 gives me negative 11. 4 times negative 15 gives me negative 60. Okay, so that's why. And then n plus 4 equals 0 by the zero product property, and n equals negative 4. And then n minus 15 equals 0, n equals 15. Okay, so these are your answers. And now we're going to continue to the next one. Okay, so this is 0. We can go ahead and factor x plus x minus. Okay, no, this is a big number, but not to worry. I see I could do 25 and 20. Okay, and then I will give the positive sign to positive 25 and this negative sign to 20 so I can maintain a positive 5 as the coefficient of the second term. And then this would, the product of positive 25 and negative 20 would be negative 500. So then I could put the 25 with the plus sign and the 20 with the subtraction sign. And now I'm going to allow you to just write negative 25 and 20 and do this all in your head. Okay, and now for the next one, this does not equal to 0, so you need to do some extra steps here. Distribute the x on the left-hand side. And then you need to move the 21 over to the left-hand side. So that becomes x squared minus 4x minus 21 equal to 0. And then I can factor this trinomial now that this is 0. So x plus x minus, so negative, negative, positive, negative. And then I can think of the pair 3 and 7. Because 3 times 7 makes 21. And I need to assign a negative to the 7 because it's a negative 4 here. 3 plus negative 7 makes negative 4. Okay? So the positive 3 would go here and the negative 7 would go here. So your x would be negative 3 and 7. Okay, and the next one, x squared, distribute the negative 10. So that would be negative 20. X squared minus 10x minus 24 equals 0. And then I could look at 4 and 6. It doesn't work because if I assign a negative sign, it wouldn't give you negative 10, so I have to look at negative 12 and 2. Negative 12 times 2 gives me negative 24. Negative 12 plus 2 gives me negative 10. So here we go. So the negative goes with the 12, positive goes with the 2. So my answers would be x equals negative 2 and 12. Find the zeros of the polynomial function. So again, we need to let f of x equal to 0, and we can factor this. And this would be 2 and 9. So the zeros of this polynomial function would be negative 2 and negative 9. And for the other one, let h of x equal to 0. We can factor this now. Negative, positive, negative, negative. Okay, and I'm going to use 5 and 9. Hence, my zeros will be x equal to 5 and 9. Okay, the next one, find the dimensions of the rectangle that has the given area. So the given area is 100 square inches, length is x inches, and the width is x minus 15. We can go ahead and take x times x minus 15 and set that equal to 100. And then we need to rewrite this equation so that it equals to 0 so we can factor. So x squared minus 15x, and then move the positive 100 over so it becomes negative 100. Okay, and then to factor this, I see that I can use 5 and 20, negative, negative, positive, negative, and I'm going to put the 20 here so it makes a negative 20, and the 5 here so it makes a positive 5, and then negative 20 plus 5 makes negative 15. Therefore, I can have x equal to negative 5 or 20, but we cannot have a negative length, so we can cross out negative 5. So x equals 20 inches, and x minus 15 will make 5 inches for the width. Okay, let's look at our word problem. A rectangular fish pond is positioned in the center of a rectangular grassy area as shown. The area of the pond is 2,000 square feet. Okay, and then part A, it wants to use the dimensions given in a diagram to find the dimensions of the pond. So first, we need to take the length a plus 25 and multiply it by the width a plus 15. So I'm going to write it up here. Okay, and it gives you the area here, 2,000 square feet. And I'm going to have to rewrite this as a polynomial. A squared plus 15a plus 25a. 25 times 15 is 375. And then we have to move the 2,000 over so that we can make a 0 here. And then it'll be minus 1625. Okay, so negative 2,000 plus 375 is negative 1625. Okay, and we can now factor this. Okay, 1625 is a pretty big number. And I'm thinking I can use 25. Okay, and then see that I can do this. And then 5. This will make 125. And then between 65 and 25, if I subtract this, 65, 25, this gives me 40. Okay, so I could do 65, I want a positive 65, and I want a negative 25, so I can get a positive 40 in the middle. I mean, as my value of B here. And then A could be negative 65 or 25. But we can have a negative value, so A must be 25. Okay, and now we can find the length and width. A plus 25, 25 plus 25 makes 50 feet. And then A plus 15, that makes 40 feet. So 50 feet by 40 feet. Part B states that the combined area of the pond and the surrounding grassy area is 9,900 square feet. Find the length and width of the grassy area. So it will be referring to this part of the picture. The length and the width. Okay, so there's a long way and there's an easy way. The long way would be to set up a polynomial, which I don't suggest. And the second way would just be to use the answer from part A, where A equals 25, and substitute 25 in for all the A's, for the length and the width, and just use addition. So when we substitute these in, 25, 25, the sum of this entire expression would just be 110 feet. And the width would just be 90 feet. And this concludes the lesson.